Welcome to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use on real estate. And today we're talking about something really, really important. It has to do with real estate, but it also has to do with your election on November 3rd. So, got a really interesting show for you because there may be some confusion on November 3rd when you look at the ballot. So, we're going to clarify that for you today. I want you to be ready when you go to the polls to vote. I've got Brandon Alderete here. He's the Director of Political Affairs at the Texas Association of Realtors, and he's Skyping in from Austin to talk to us today. Welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thanks, Shannon. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk first about why we're even doing this, and part of that is because we anticipate some confusion on the ballot on November 3rd, right?
That's correct. We're talking about Proposition 1, which is a statewide constitutional amendment. We're referring to it as the Homeowner Tax Relief Amendment. And so what this proposition does is it's a couple things that we can dig down into it if you want to a little bit later. But what this does is it increases the Homestead Exemption, so it provides instant property tax relief.
Yep.
And then it also, a few twists and turns aside, and then we go to the ban on real estate transfer taxes. So there are 37 other states and territories that tax the sale of real estate at some level. There's different models, a percentage or an scale percentage, things like that. But 37 other states or territories tax the sale of real estate at the closing date. Mm-hmm. And we never want Texas to be one of those states. So
no, we don't want Texas to be one of those states. And, as a realtor, good Lord, we have a hard enough time getting buyers and sellers to pay the real estate commission. Now, if they had another tax on top of it, a lot of sellers and buyers, they don't make that much. If they sell within just a few years of having their mortgage, sometimes they just break even walking away from the closing table. So adding another fee due, another tax on it would not be good.
No, it would be real bad, and there's different models, like I said, and some of the proposals around here have been to just add real estate to the tax base, so it would be taxed at whatever the state sales tax rate would be, and so you're starting to talk about 6.25, but that could go up depending on what they want to do.
Wow, so, that's crazy.
Yeah,
we got to stop that.
It's real crazy. So that's why it's real important to get out and let's vote for Prop 1. So for property tax relief now and no sales tax on real estate transactions ever.
So that's across the state, Prop 1. And then here in Houston, locally, we have a Proposition 1 too, not to be confused with the statewide Prop 1, but the local has to do with the HRER ordinance, right?
Yeah, that's correct. The Houston Equal Rights Ordinance. That's citywide Proposition 1. We are statewide Proposition 1. I think, depending on where you are in the greater Houston area, there could be a county Proposition 1. I think Baytown has a Proposition 1. So there's several out there. But just know that the statewide Proposition 1 is about property tax relief. And
it's a good thing. It's a great thing. So no matter how you feel about the citywide, the HRER ordinance issue, because I know there's a lot of controversy about that. So no matter how you feel about that, make sure on the statewide Proposition 1, that you vote yes for that because you want to stop transfer fees. You want to make sure that your homestead exemption increases so that you can save money on your taxes every year.
Yeah,
it's a good
correct.
thing, very good thing for property owners. So when you look at your ballot on November 3rd, you've got your statewide voting that you do. Then you do your county, your city, then your municipalities, your school districts. So, as you go down the ballot, just remember that first Proposition 1 that you come to is going to be for the state, and that is for the one that is going to be that's really beneficial to all property owners. I can't think of why anyone would be against it. Can you?
Well, no, I can't. But, we always say that our biggest opposition is always voter apathy. And just people or confusing ballot language. Now we touched this on this a little bit, but the ballot language for statewide Proposition 1 is really cumbersome, and so we just want to make sure that people know that it's a good thing.
Yeah.
When people know what it does, they're with us all, nearly 100%. But there's a tendency for people when they see real confusing ballot language, they tend to vote no on it or they skip the measure altogether.
Yeah, don't do that.
So we want to make sure that everyone understands that Proposition 1 is a good thing for homeowners. It's a tax relief measure, and anybody indeed who wants to buy or sell real property in the future, and this applies to commercial property as well. So this transfer tax ban.
All properties. Investment properties, not just homeowners, everybody.
Right. Well, now the homeowners would, that would be on a homestead exemption. So that is just for homestead properties. But on the transfer tax ban,
it's everybody.
That would be everybody who buys or sells a piece of real property. It would be a commercial, residential, farm and ranch, industrial, whatever.
Okay, so the website to get more information about that, if you have any confusion or if you just want to dive into it a little deeper, the website is texansforprop1.com. It's TEXANSFORPROP1.com, right?
That's correct. That's our website, and it's a pretty robust website. There is tons of information on there. We've also got a social media presence with the same spelling, TexansForProp1.com on Facebook and Twitter.
Awesome. All right, so let's dive deep into this. I want to know what brought this along. What started this initiative for this Prop 1?
Well, something I think that we can all agree on, Shannon, is that property taxes are too high.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that, you mentioned the opposition to the HRER and the controversy of the HRER ordinance and things like that. But I think no matter what, we can all agree that property taxes are too high.
Yeah.
So that was what a lot of our friends in the legislature campaigned on, and that was one of their top goals. And so property tax relief became a big subject in the 84th Texas legislature.
All right.
We were able to work with our friends over there and get this deal on the ballot.
So this is good for the real estate industry. Obviously, we want to take out any issues with purchasing property. We want to get rid of make sure that there's not any transfer tax. That helps the industry, and also having a larger homestead exemption and not having to pay as much property tax helps us. Helps give you more freed up income as a homeowner.
Exactly right.
So that's a good thing. Right. So it's good for the real estate industry. Prop 1 is good for Texas homeowners, obviously. And you mentioned the Facebook and Twitter accounts where they can find information. We also mentioned the website. And let's talk a little bit about the benefits for seniors and disabled homeowners.
Right. So what this would do was those folks have the frozen property taxes. And they're frozen so they won't go any higher, obviously. But what Prop 1 does, and the reason the ballot language is so cumbersome, is because you had to do some specific ballot language so we could actually lower the frozen property taxes. And all that means is that it increases the value of the homestead exemption by $10,000 for those people as well.
Okay, because I guess there was a little misconception about that.
Yeah, we did some polling and focus groups, and there was some concern that this actually shifts the burden to elderly and disabled Texans, and that is not what we're trying to do. That is not what this does. This provides property tax relief for every Texas homeowner with a homestead property.
Okay, and even people that I've come across that I've talked about this Prop 1, and they said, well, it doesn't do enough. It's not a big enough gain. It doesn't. To me, any gain is a gain. It's a start.
Yeah, and what I say to that is I said, what if you could drive down the street to your polling place and push one button and be guaranteed that on November 1st of every year you would get a suitcase full of $130, would you do it? Mm-hmm. And everybody says yes. And that's what this is. The average Texan homeowner will save about $130 a year. Is it the end of property tax relief? No, it's a first step.
It's the beginning.
But again, if I told you that every year on November 1st there would be a suitcase with $130, right, I don't know anybody who would say no to that.
Yeah. So we want you to vote yes for Proposition 1. Real quickly, let's talk about Proposition 7. What is that?
Sure. Proposition 7 is a transportation measure. So you'll recall that last year there was Proposition 1, and that gave some of the oil and gas severance taxes to the highway fund. This year, this doesn't raise taxes, Proposition 7, but what it does do is it provides a dedicated funding stream towards highway fund. And that's important because this once sales tax revenue reaches $28 billion, the next 2.5 will go to the highway fund as a dedication. That's important because highway projects and road projects take a long time to plan, many, many years. Mm-hmm. We're on a 2-year cycle. And so this gives TxDOT a way to do a more long-term plan with money they know is going to be there. It makes budgeting for long-term transportation projects more feasible. Okay.
All right. So Proposition 7 is a pretty good thing. It doesn't raise taxes. It's going to help with road construction, which we know everybody wants better roads. Yeah.
And you in Houston, you guys got big issues with traffic. So do we here in Austin, but I think this will help.
We do. All right. Well, great information, Brandon. We appreciate you Skyping in today. He's the Director of Political Affairs over at Texas Association of Realtors in Austin, right across the street from the Capitol, because I know you always go over there. We're doing a lot of work over there, and we appreciate that. And Brandon, the website again, texansforprop1.com. Best place
correct.
for consumers to go.
Yep, and they can. There's a contact form on there if they want more information. We're happy to give it to them.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Shannon. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. We'll be right back here on Houston Real Estate Radio. If you missed any of today's show, you can catch it online at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, because we put a lot of videos over there on Facebook as well.